The message arrived on a Tuesday. Admiral James Parker stood rigid before the United Earth Council, his weathered face illuminated by the holographic display showing the alien transmission. The being on screen was vaguely humanoid, with blue-tinted skin and eyes that reflected light like polished obsidian. Its voice, translated through Earth's most advanced AI systems, carried an unmistakable tone of superiority. The Galactic hegemony recognizes Earth's developing status among spacefaring civilizations, the alien representative stated. As per Protocol 7 Delta of Imperial Expansion, your planet is hereby required to submit annual tribute of 10% of all planetary resources and 2 million human subjects for labor integration. The council chamber fell silent. Councillor Marcus leaned forward, her voice steady despite the tremor in her hands. And if we refuse? The alien's expression didn't change. Non-compliance is not advisable. Civilizations that resist integration are subject to disciplinary measures. You have 30 Earth rotations to begin preparation for tribute collection. The transmission ended. For 3 days, the Earth Council debated. Diplomats argued for negotiation. Military leaders assessed defenses. Scientists analyzed what little they knew of hegemony technology. On the 4th day, the vote was unanimous. We didn't come this far to become slaves, Council President Wilson declared in a global broadcast. Humanity does not pay tribute. We did not survive ice ages, plagues, and our own self-destructive tendencies to bow before bullies, no matter how advanced they claimed to be. The response to the hegemony was brief. Earth declined your offer. What followed was not surrender, but transformation. The divisions that had plagued humanity for centuries dissolved overnight. Nations that had been enemies for generations now shared military strategies and technology. Private corporations turned over proprietary research. Religious leaders prayed side by side regardless of faith. A planet that had always been defined by its differences united under a single purpose: survival. Commander Lisa Reed, Earth's foremost expert on theoretical weapon systems, was pulled from retirement. Her underground laboratory became the nerve center of humanity's technological resistance. They expect us to either surrender or fight conventionally, she explained to the assembled military heads. We'll do neither. Reed's team worked tirelessly, developing systems that the hegemony would never anticipate from a developing civilization. They created quantum-entangled communication networks that couldn't be intercepted. They weaponized Earth's seemingly primitive technologies in ways the aliens would never expect. When the hegemony arrived with their massive ships darkening the skies over major cities, they expected to find a compliant population ready for processing or a feudal conventional resistance they could easily crush. Instead, they found nothing. Cities stood empty, military bases abandoned. It was as though humanity had simply vanished. Admiral Thorne of the Hegemony Expansion Fleet frowned as his scouts reported back. Impossible, he muttered. 8 billion life forms don't just disappear. The attack came not from Earth's surface, but from within the hegemony's own fleet. Human operators, having infiltrated the alien vessels months earlier disguised as maintenance workers from conquered worlds, activated dormant algorithms that Reed's team had designed. Ship after ship went dark as their navigation systems failed. Life support flickered. Weapons systems turned inward. When the first hegemony vessel crashed into the Atlantic Ocean, Earth's hidden forces emerged. Submarines that had been waiting in the depths. Fighter jets launching from camouflaged mountain hangars. Orbital platforms that had been disguised as space debris. The battle lasted less than a day. Admiral Thorne found himself faced with Commander Reed across a makeshift conference table in what had once been his command center. You should have researched us better, Reed said calmly. Humans don't take well to threats. This is unprecedented, Thorne replied, genuine confusion in his voice. No developing world has ever. Your first mistake was classifying us as merely developing, Reed interrupted. Your second was assuming tribute was ever an option. The tree that followed was not one of Earth's surrender, but the hegemony's withdrawal. The terms were clear. Earth and its solar system were sovereign territory. Any future contact would be diplomatic, not imperial. As news spread throughout the galaxy, other subjugated worlds took notice. The mighty hegemony, which had demanded tribute from 1,000 worlds, had been forced to retreat by a single developing planet. Back on Earth, Admiral Parker stood at the window of the rebuilt council chamber, watching as normal life resumed in the streets below. The planet had changed fundamentally. Humanity had glimpsed its own extinction and instead found its unity. "They'll be back," Councilor Marcus said, joining him. "Not the hegemony, perhaps, but others." Parker nodded. "And we'll be ready. The stars have always called to us, but now we go to them on our terms." In distant galaxies, the story spread like wildfire among oppressed civilizations. How a small blue planet on the edge of an unremarkable galaxy had stood against the Empire. How, when asked for tribute, they had not only refused, but had changed the rules of engagement entirely. Earth had not merely declared war. They had declared that the old ways of conquest were over, that the universe listened.